Good morning. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to prepare for component 3A and particularly the design questions. How many marks are the design questions worth in the exam? It depends on the paper, but usually you will get some shorter mark design questions and some larger mark design questions. So either way, you must prepare to know about staging, set design, costume design, and understand how to explain your ideas. What can I do to prepare for the design questions? Well, particularly the staging questions, you can have a concept for your design which you can adapt for any question which you receive in the exam. So the main piece of advice that I would give for this question is make sure that you have a design concept in mind. So the play that you are studying with your teacher, make sure that you know how you would set it if you were the director, if you were the designer. What kind of stage type would you use? What props would you use? Why? How would the actors interact with the audience? Would it be a naturalistic play, a non-naturalistic play? What would be important to you as a designer? Now, there's 4 different stage types which you need to know off by heart, ready for the exam. Sometimes it asks you about identifying ground plans, and other times it will ask you to design a set design for one of these 4 stage types. If you can't remember them, have a look in the link below and I've got a video specifically on the 4 different stage types. Let's have a look at an example question. This question is worth a whopping 10 marks. So we're going to have a look at what we need to do to prepare for it. As a designer, choose one of these stages and describe in detail your set design for this extract. You will notice there it says to describe in detail. So your concept must be fully explored and fully explained in your answer. You should justify your ideas. You should justify your ideas. I would highlight that word if I was reading the exam for the first time. I have to explain why I think my idea is a good idea. How would it support the audience's understanding of the play? How would it enable the audience to respond to the play? And you need to explain that in full. With reference to the original staging. So your teacher should have taught you something about the original staging of the production. Where was it performed? What was the staging like? And what different ideas for the props and set design did the designers and the director use? In your answer, refer to your choice of stage and audience position. So which stage type would you choose and how would the audience be seated and why? Your production style, are you going to go with a naturalistic style or are you going to go with a more non-naturalistic style? What is important to you? What do you think is going to suit the play and the point of the play that you're trying to get across? And the set and props, including use of colour. And this is worth 10 marks. So how is it marked? Well, it's actually marked in bands. So we go from band 1 to band 5 answers. Band 1 starts at a limited response. Band 2, some detail. Band 3, reasonable detail. Band 4, good detail. And finally, band 5, excellent detail, which is where we're aiming for. Let's have a look at an example mark scheme for a staging question worth 10 marks. So this is the mark scheme for a band 5 answer, so worth 9 or 10 marks in an exam. The staging design concept is fully explored. Notice there how it's really emphasizing the importance of detail in your response, demonstrating a high level of knowledge and understanding, not just about the stage type, but about the play and how that stage type would be relevant to this extract or to the play in general. For theatre in the round or proscenium stage. So this mark scheme is for a very specific question that asks you about designing for theatre in the round or a proscenium stage, but sometimes the questions are more generic. They'll ask you to choose one of the 4 stage types or one of the 2 stage types that have been asked of you in previous questions, including the audience position. Really important that you talk about where the audience will be seated and how that will affect their response to the extract or to the play in the question. Perceptive and detailed explanation. Again, they are emphasizing the importance of fully explored ideas, really good levels of detail in your answers. Highly detailed description of set and props, including the use of colour. Colour is something that a lot of people forget to mention in their answer, but colour can be a really, really important way to have symbolic messages about the characters or the scene that you are talking about. Highly detailed examples which fully support the design. So your whole concept should be well-rounded, should be fully explored. Things need to match up together to give you a really well-rounded answer. And highly relevant contextualized knowledge, understanding, and use of drama terminology. So as always, you want to make sure that you're weaving in the correct drama language all the way through your answer as you respond to the question. My main piece of advice is to be bold. This is not the time to play it safe. Here we study DNA by Dennis Kelly, and some of the scenes are set in a forest. If you were to suggest that you would put a tree on stage or some fake leaves scattered across the floor, is that the most creative idea that you can come up with? Probably not. So I want you to think about how you can make your concept as creative and bold as possible. Knowledge for this question is really important. Your knowledge not only of the extract of the play, but also of staging, set and design. If you're not sure what kind of props or set you could come up with, then have a look on YouTube. Have a look at some really well-developed plays to get some inspiration. Remember, money is not an object in this question. You can imagine that you have the most money possible to put on this production. So don't worry about keeping the design simple or cheap. You can have a rotating stage. You can have somebody flying in from the right side of the stage. You can have whatever you want. So do not play it safe and do not come up with the basic information. And finally, make sure that your concept is fully explored and well-rounded. Imagine your answer like a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. You want to make sure that all of the pieces fit together, that you're really explaining it for the examiner so that they can visualize what your idea is for the set design. So I hope that's been helpful in explaining to you how to answer C3A design questions in your exam.